think of the soil health movement overall across the nation as it's progressing? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the individuals that are doing something I'm very impressed. I mean, there's some guys that are, like Gabe, they're really out there and really pushing it. Unfortunately, not enough people are pushing it near fast enough.
Okay. What would some of your thoughts be on how we could all work together? Everyone that's interested in it, various states across the United States, are there things we could do to maybe increase the viability of that movement?
Well, I think for one thing, there's a lot of mixed messages being received by the producers. I think they come to meetings like these and they hear a great message about no-till or soil health, and then they go home all excited, and then they go to another meeting that someone else is putting on, and they hear, well, tillage it's okay, it's an option, and no-till's an option, and they get confused and they do nothing. We got to find a way to prove to them. We all got to get on the same page. We're running out of soil. It's a resource that we're in very short supply of, and I think we're losing at an alarming rate, and I'm shocked that more producers aren't aware of how bad the situation really is. I think we all need to get on a united front and find a way to get the producers convinced they've got to get changed, they've got to get out of their comfort zone and try something different.
Another question that we had was on your overall farming operation, about what percent of your acres every year do you have cover crops on?
100.
100%. You're going some sort of cover crop or companion crop on everything.
Yeah, we have something growing all the time.
Very good. Excellent. What would be an advice to someone like, for instance, ourselves, where we're at in Colorado? We're just starting in this movement, so we've got a lot of producers that are interested in it and they want to do something. But what would your advice be to them as someone who's been in this for a while?
Just do something. Start wherever you're comfortable. I started in my garden, and then I went from there to a little 20-acre field. Start somewhere, try things, don't be afraid to fail. You can't learn if you don't fail. So, start small and talk with your neighbors. And if your neighbor's trying something, instead of the rumor slide that I showed, instead of making fun of him, stop and ask.
Well, another question that we have, of course, we're from the NRCS, is what would be something that the NRCS can do, or things perhaps the NRCS can do to really promote soil health, all across the nation?
Well, I think, instead of having buffer strip coordinators and things like that, every office needs a no-till coordinator or a soil health coordinator to help push this issue even further and give the guidance that the producers need.
Okay. You mentioned it in your talk. We hear it almost daily. Well, they might be able to do that in North Dakota, or they might be able to do that in Kansas, but we live in the desert and we don't have enough water, or we have too much water, or we have whatever. So how will you respond to that? If somebody in your area or somewhere you talk to made a comment like that, what's your response?
Well, the entire cover crop movement, at least in North America, started right here with Gabe and Jay. They came to Salina, the No-Till in the Plains Winter Conference in, I think it was 2006, and listened to a guy named Ademir Caligari from South America, who's kind of the cover crop guru of the planet. They took his message from a very warm tropical climate and brought it back to Bismarck, and can you imagine what their neighbors told them? How can you take what he's doing and make that work here? He's in South America, we're not in the desert, we're at the North Pole. But they didn't take his recipe, they took his message, and they made it work. You can do whatever you want to do if you want to try. Our only limiting factor is our mind.
And what we're willing to do.
Exactly.